That's right, we're looking at another day with temperatures well into the 80s to near 90 degrees in a few spots and partly to mostly sunny skies once again, so you'll definitely want to lather up as you're heading out. Radar right now sweeping clear. Might see a few isolated showers popping up as we go through the day tomorrow. Not looking at a washout, but I think there will be a couple of thunderstorms or showers showing up in the area. Take a look at the wider view. Most of the activity today has been off towards the south through parts of North and South Carolina, but notice a few of these showers gathering out towards the east. Some of those will slide towards the west, closer to the coastline as we go through the later overnight hours. And some of those might hold together. Look for a couple of showers possible as we go through the first half of the day. And then even into the afternoon, there might be a shower or two in a few spots. We'll put those odds at around 20% as we go through the day tomorrow. Notice also with that easterly wind, temperatures not as hot. We'll go for a high of about 87 degrees tomorrow. As we get into the later evening, I think those shower chances will go down. So by 9:30, should be looking pretty good for those fireworks. It'll just be muggy with temperatures around 81 degrees. A little better chance for a few isolated showers as we go through the day on Thursday. And with the winds becoming a little more southeasterly, that'll allow temperatures to climb a little bit more back into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. And again, we'll put about a 30% chance of rain in the forecast for Thursday. And those rain chances go up even more for Friday and Saturday. But that's with an approaching cold front, and that'll drop the temperatures a bit as we head into the weekend. Now, we are watching the tropics and this cluster of thunderstorms south and east of Bermuda. If you were watching earlier, we were saying there was about a 30% chance of development. Now the Hurricane Center is saying that there's about a 50% chance that this could develop into something over the next 5 days. But with that approaching cold front coming in, the two would interact and it would curve back out to sea. So we're not looking at any threat to any land masses, but that's something we'll continue to watch as we're now a little more than a month into this hurricane season. Outside right now, beautiful shot of downtown Norfolk. We've got the Dominion Tower or Dominion Enterprises building all lit up, and we've got the Sky Star out there as well. Temperature coming in at 81 degrees, easterly winds at 3 miles per hour. Humidity is at 94%. 76 in Franklin, 81 in Newport News, it's 80 at Wallops Island, and 81 in Manio, 81 in Duck, 80 in Portsmouth, 80 in Hampton, and 74 degrees back in Wakefield. So for tonight, mainly clear, muggy and warm, 76, and tomorrow 87 degrees with that slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm under partly sunny skies. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tomorrow night, and 88 degrees. A little better chance for a few isolated afternoon thunderstorms on Thursday. Again, a 30% chance of rain. 40% on Friday as temperatures climb back to 91. But Friday night and into Saturday, that's when the cold front moves in, and we're looking at a good chance of showers and storms, and then temperatures dropping. Saturday, 82 degrees, 82 on Sunday, looking like a beautiful day, and temperatures climbing back to the mid to upper 80s by the middle of next week.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Thank you, Evan.